You're good. You're good.
Huh?
We're back. We're back. He's fixed. Yeah,
We
good
fixed
shit. Thank you, Lizard.
What
All
a
right.
handyman.
Beautiful. All right. Hello, folks.
Hello, everyone.
TI's over. We've had a bit of a vacation. You guys, us, everybody at home, you know. But we're back into it. The season's starting. Kyle, by the way.
Lizard.
Indeed. Yeah,
We
as you
need
can-
some dotes. We need more tournaments.
Yeah, we are here at the GG.Bet Hamburg Invitational. That's right, we've got teams from both Russia and Europe competing to qualify at what I believe will be the second LAN of the season. And yeah, we've got some new lineups. Gambit just announcing their roster, I think, like 3 hours ago. They'll actually be competing in our first match today.
It's a tryout. So there's that. It's a new roster, right? But I believe this reshuffle is not over for the CIS teams. They're going to just shuffle players all around. You know what CIS is like. They just like to
It'd be
play
interesting to see.
around a little bit.
It's like, what's the over-under on, team lineup changes during the course of this event? Will we have any teams that, like...
Maybe we'll have, like, players going from one team to another,
You never know. You never know. It's always exciting, though. What are the European teams? They're not. I don't think there are any in this bracket half, unless you count HippoManiacs.
HippoManiacs, Ad Finum, and Singularity.
Okay.
And you know what I really like about this tournament already and these teams? We have two teams. One is completely from Czech Republic, and the other Ad Finum is completely Greek again. So we have these teams that are basically like one country stacks. I always enjoyed that.
Yeah.
I was in one of those myself. Didn't really work out, but maybe it can work out for these boys. You never know.
And we can check out the groups right now. As you can see, we'll be starting off in Group A this evening. Ad Finum, Fly to Moon, HippoManiacs, and Gambit. Tomorrow, we'll get into the Group B action. Windstrike, Singularity, Old But Gold, and Positive Guys. Just a great group of guys that stay positive.
Old But Gold, Positive Guys.
They're quality names. They need a better logo, I think, but it's a good start.
They just formed, so didn't really have time to get that logo. But
just like we don't have much time, we got to get into this draft. Lizard, as you can see, Gambit captained by FNG, also with one of the free agent pickups of the season.
Shackle?
GPK.
GPK
has been low key. I use a fantasy football team. He's a sleeper. Okay, and apparently everybody in CIS was aware that this kid was going to be the next superstar. Gambit won the sweepstakes. Navi, apparently even VP might have had a little bit of interest, but Navi, Gambit, Windstrike, all these squads wanted this kid, and
Dude,
of course Gambit will end up landing.
We were watching on TI Hub, like on the qualifiers. Sadly for GPK, he didn't manage to qualify, but we were watching him, Fishman, and the boys, go for that. I believe they went 7-0 or 9-0 in the qualifier, like without a loss, and then they lost in the finals, sadly for them. But
they got 3-0 in the finals as well.
But, like, watching them at the start, we thought that there was like some spies. They were throwing. They were just playing like I don't know what, like 3K players, But suddenly, bam! They step on the gas. They just destroyed every single team, and GPK was definitely one of the moving forces of that team.
And of course, on the other side, we've got HippoManiacs, captained by Supreme, along with Seni, looking for Team 2.
Yeah, Boom is the new guy in this team. They actually had Saberlight before, and Saberlight was their shining star in this team. Like, he was that position 3 offlane axe that would buy phase boots after creep skipping and just run down mid, destroy the mid laner as well. That dude carried them hard from that position 3, and I'm really interested in seeing how well they're going to fare without him, because as GPK was the driving force for his team, I believe Saberlight was the same for these guys. I'm not taking any way away from every other player here. They have some pretty funky playstyle, like Visage support, Huskar,
let's be real. Do we even know what playstyle to expect? Like TI was interesting because OG effectively just shit on everyone, playing a unique style of Dota. There's a lot of team-focused compositions. A few other teams kind of caught in the past playing this more 1-4 setup or a 2-core lineup. OG, it felt like at times Thompson was playing as a 4 position, and other times he was your hard carry. So it'll be really curious to see how that event influences the scene as a whole. So far, looking at the draft, nothing too out of the ordinary. Night Stalker coming out in the first pick selection does definitely raise some eyebrows, but after the change...
Yes. Man, I think this hero is, like you said, a sleeper, but this guy doesn't sleep during the night. He hunts!
Jesus Christ. It's too early for this, Lizard. But
Come
please
on.
elaborate. What makes him so strong?
Well, right now, it was a small change, right, with the void not being halved during the day, but you can effectively last at the range creep every single time when you're on that offlane.
Yep,
However,
that's a good point.
They play this hero on safe lane and mid as well at the moment, and with that early Aghanims pickup, you have that AoE void to work with if you want to, but you don't have to go that way. However, I haven't seen any official games with Night Stalker because were there any official games after TI and after the patch? So I don't know, I'm just interested.
It's a real tough hero to balance, right? Because it feels like you go through these different iterations where it's either a garbage hero or it's so strong it can be first picked, as we've just seen now. And I think that's partly just due to the fact that it's got this incredibly unique kit. It's a hero concept that isn't replicable. The way you can abuse map control thanks to darkness. You have terrain walking now on your E, of course. Similar to Bat Rider, where this is always going to be good. And unless the hero is just so bad, the numbers are changed to make him too weak to actually find a place in a lane, you can expect to see him have a pretty good foothold in the meta. So far, I think I'm actually leaning towards the HippoManiacs draft just because their ability to control vision right now seems...
There's so much aggression from them as well, right? You have this Lina, you have the Ogre Magi, like you have these heroes that can just dominate the mid game if they itemize properly. And now they go with a Slark.
Into Axe?
I mean, on the lane,
True.
it can be really good, right? So we'll see how it fares for him. Later on, it can be a little bit problematic, but
you do have the increased night vision as well, and you will be playing at night quite often with a Night Stalker. It's one of my favorite core concepts, because if you think of Slark, right, he loves having a vision advantage. He loves being able to abuse that in and out, hit and run style, and you need someone like a Night Stalker to activate it. It's Slark and Lycan specifically that I love with it. And you just hit and run. You have the Ogre to buff up as well. They are missing a bit of team fight right now on the side of HippoManiacs. You've got to be a bit concerned, because if you're trying to run into a lineup that has a Gyro, an Undying, and an Axe, you know, you're going to get wiped out if you don't find that pickoff to start off an engagement.
They're pretty much hit and run right now. That's what they are. So the team fight aspect definitely needs to be filled up with this last pick of theirs, but they could also go completely into the hit and run option, right? Just go in with a Night Stalker with the Slark when you have those ultis, jump in, get the pickoff or two, perhaps that Gyro. He can fall very easily when you have someone like Lina and Ogre Magi on your side, right? So that's also an option. However, is it going to be countered by the Axe? That depends on how well of a lane this Axe has. And we already mentioned that the Axe versus Slark isn't too easy for the Axe unless he's creep skipping all the time. Which comes back to HippoManiacs and their ability to shut that down. And I believe, like before I said Saberlight, they was their teammate before, and he loved to play that Axe. They played a lot of Axe games, and I believe they understand how this hero works, and I think they will be able to shut him down, but we'll see.
I like the Brood ban from Hippo. You gotta just ensure that there's no crazy win conditions.
Especially when you're going for something like an OD, which is also a good pick versus the Axe, right? You have that saving potential versus the call.
It's also really nice, I think, to have hard save with the Slark on your team. Because it's a hero that, especially in this game, where you have this one-to-one hard counter. You know, Axe taunts my Slark, and now he can't cast anything. He can't cleanse this from himself. He might just die. Now you banish him, he'll pop out. He'll get the ult off, the BKB, the Dark Pact. Doesn't matter, and you don't have that 100-0 capability anymore on the side of Gambit if Boom is prepared to put him under. Another good synergy with the Ogre Magi, but still limited team fight. And if I'm Gambit here, I'm probably thinking about pushing this tempo, because right now you don't have too much to deal with the BKB that comes out on an OD. I would love to see them just get aggressive here, pick up some tower push. Pugna's not bad.
Yeah, I mean, Pugna versus the OD later on in the game is really good. Also gives you that tower push.
Is Lycan a hero? Is that a possibility? Maybe do a Gyro mid?
Depends how many wolves he can spawn.
Very good point, very good point. Wolves need no armor. Dude, what's wrong with you, Liz? You're having way too much fun. We are in the first draft. Is this the coffee or something?
No, I still haven't finished my coffee.
Really? Oh, God.
Wait and see.
Someone's been having too much fun, Lizard. What have you been up to over the summer?
Well, I didn't go to TI. So I had to fill my time somehow, and I just enjoyed the August sun, went on some cruises, on some vacations, you know, and that's pretty much it.
Oh, that's nice.
GPK with the Queen of Pain, by the way, and we talked about this guy a little bit. We said that he's the rising star of the CIS scene. We'll see how well he'll be able to do with that co-op. I think the hero is pretty nice for them overall. Gives them some tempo. Is pretty decent versus the OD on the mid lane.
You can't blink away from Slark Pounce anymore, though. That's a bit
true.
troublesome.
That's true. So you have to itemize versus that. Perhaps a Yules or something similar. Or someone gets a Force on your team and forces you away.
Maybe you buy it yourself. I actually like Hurricane Pike
Queen
co-op.
of
I don't think
Pain,
it's too bad.
Hurricane Pike.
Later on. You get a Force.
So you get the Force earlier.
I think you actually definitely get a Force here, thinking about it. Especially against like a Night Stalker. Because, you know, if you get blinked on or he finds you with the silence and you can force away into blink, like that's... It's needed, right? So
Force is really good versus Night Stalker and Slark.
Yes.
I think it's a major item for them
Yeah.
in this game, definitely.
What are we thinking, prediction-wise? Let's start off the season strong. What do you think?
Prediction-wise, I'd go with HippoManiacs, I think.
Okay.
I just do not believe in this Gyro pickup as the position 1. Gyro and Co-op. I think OD and Slark should be able to deal with them. The Axe is my only issue. I think there's a lot of things that he has to carry. He has to carry all 4 of them with his proper initiations, with him catching out that Slark, but then there's an OD versus the Slark.
And they have no tool of acquiring vision. That's my big concern. Like you have this hard support on dying, and in theory, you know, it's about picking your battles, right? You're going to need a high ground, and you're going to need somewhere to place a good tombstone, just to provide like that vision as the darkness hits, and all of a sudden you're only really relying on these zombies to find targets. But my concern is that you don't have that ability to push tempo. You don't have natural tower push, and I think ultimately a Slark OD lineup will outscale and probably win the game. So anyway, we're going to get into the game in just a moment. And hope you enjoy. I'm personally excited to just get back into Dota. I had a nice break as well. Did some exploration, hung out, ate a lot of food. I'm ready to get back into the swing of things. And what better way to start than OD versus Quap?
OD versus Co-op. Boom. Actually playing on HippoManiacs, that mid lane, which means that one of their players have transitioned to the off lane. So they didn't just find an offlaner. Instead,
this has been a common pattern in the
yeah.
shuffle. I don't. We can't really leak anything, but there are a few players
that
on roles you wouldn't expect.
Right?
Yeah, it'll be fun to see. I also think it's crazy. I mean, obviously there's some leaks about upcoming rosters, but I'm surprised some of these top tier rosters that everyone has known in the scene, behind the scenes, since like TI, still not confirmed leak anywhere. I cannot confirm nor deny any rosters, of course, so please do not DM me. However, do feel free to follow me on Instagram at KyleFriedman.
I actually believe Slacks has a lot of leaks, so you can just
I agree.
DM him.
He does.
He knows everything, guys. So
yeah, he made
and
a lot
he's
of money
willing
off
to share as well. So.
And we're going to see a bit of rune fighting. Access Vampire will snag the one up top.
Yes.
Battle Hunger first.
He is a very tanky ogre. He's taking a lot of damage here, but should be fine to just escape. There's a lot of armor.
It's so annoying to play against the Bloodlust level 1.
Oh my god. Look at...
This is what you said, right? Like, it's in theory a nice matchup for the Axe, but the laning phase against Slark is just so difficult nowadays with the regen buffs, the stats steal, spam.
And you know what? You can't leave Shaklo there on that lane. You can't just leave him on it and go do whatever you want with that Rubik. So I believe they might have to creep skip very soon if the lane doesn't go really well early on for them.
I love mid lanes that start this way. No CS, just denies. Both players are frustrated
Curry.
bottom. Wow.
All right.
What was that? Yeah, just rocket decay spam. Well done by FNG. And this is the power of the Undying, of course. Both teams seem like they have an impenetrable safe lane.
I think FNG on this Undying is going to be a real problem for this Night Stalker, as he's a strength hero, melee as well, and Undying loves these lanes.
Yep, that's a good point. Expect I'd say a passive laning phase though. Neither side really have the best ability to gank or rotate. Theoretically, we could see a Rubik come middle, but you know, killing an OD is a tall task. I think for Hippo, you're waiting for your Night Stalker to come online. Maybe first, probably more like second night time.
Yeah,
you can start to get aggressive.
A long time ago, when we were still players, Night Stalker first night was the go time, right?
Yeah.
You get that first night and you just start rotating around. Right now, it doesn't necessarily have to be that way any longer. You just go into farming mode, get those phases, perhaps a Midas in the first night, and afterwards you are actually able to contribute.
I mean, check out the odds. Gambit heavily favored in this game. I'm a bit surprised, personally.
Yeah, I guess.
I don't think that any team right now should be that much of a favorite, especially in a qualifier.
I have to agree. Specifically because Gambit, they only have FNG from their old roster, right?
I believe so, yes.
On the bottom lane, a little bit of a spam on Muff and Curry, but they're just way too tanky at the moment. They need to use those decays first, get them low a little bit, and then you can perhaps take a kill.
And this is where it starts to get a bit easier for Axe. As you can see, just starting the back lane, gets all these nice CS for free. And I like that they're also keeping Rubik in the lane against the Slark. This is one of the downsides of double dual lanes, is that even if you're a bit outmatched in the lane, when you have a hero like Axe, he'll just free farm no problem. Miss stun down bottom might have been enough to secure a kill, but just kidding. FNG's got 9 stick and the Mango for extra decay. And what the hell's happening here?
Yeah, Shaklo, man. Like, I was wondering, when is this guy going to get a really good team and start actually penetrating back into the scene?
Is this the first time I've never seen him play without like J4 Cheshire Cat? Like this, that original Power Rangers lineup was one of the ones that I used to scrim against all the time back when I first started playing Dota.
Same here,
like
man.
2014, 15. Like it's so long ago these guys have been together. As you said, you know, finally with the chance to perhaps show his stuff on a bigger stage.
Yeah, same here. I believe J4 right now is mostly coaching, so he isn't playing any longer. But Shaklo is one of those guys that definitely did continue playing, and he's always on top of these leaderboards in Europe, you know, like I meet him very often in pubs, and he never drops under, let's say, 100 or something, right? He's definitely practicing all the time.
I like this. And FNG going back to base, he's going to just give away some items over to Dream, now with double Wraith Band, and all of a sudden, this lane got much harder for hippos down bottom. Also, do you know hippos are one of the deadliest animals?
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah.
Also, one of the reasons is because people just have this distorted image of them, right? They think that they're these cuddly little things that are friendly and stuff, but they're very territorial.
Oh,
right?
yeah. They will, like, routinely, they try to capsize boats, and then they just kill the people that are in those boats if they fall out into the water. You gotta be real careful around hippos. Lions, meanwhile, are like no big deal. There's like people that hug them and stuff. They ain't no hippo experts. Baby hippos are cute, though.
They're very cute, but Mama Hippo, however, you don't want to get close.
No, definitely not.
Apparently also lions, when you see them, if you're doing some safari or something, as long as you're in the car, they see you like as that bigger threat, like a bigger animal. They just notice the whole car, not really you. And Curry?
That's 2 kills now. This is a crazy lane. I mean, Gyro and Dying has just been putting in some work. And if you look at the CS, this is probably something we should have mentioned, that sure, hippos, you have the ability to control the game in the mid game, especially when you get some items up, but how do you get them if you're losing all 3 of your lanes?
Yeah, and we were talking about Shaklo and how he has to pop off after the laning stage. Yeah. It's really important. Now, Dream has a lot of sticks.
He's going to be just fine. Yeah. He's still like almost full health.
They can't even pursue because they're losing so much strength from the decays of FNG.
And the turnaround potential, if you were to catch a rocket next to a Q from the Gyro, you're already at like, what, 500 health on Lena after a couple decays?
Yeah, it's a very problematic for lane for them, considering they rotated both of their supports here as well. Meanwhile, Rubik is around mid, he's stacking. He's not even really helping Dream, so...
I mean, GPK as well, just dominating mid. I did not expect it to be this strong. He's 31-20 against 16-5.
Yeah, he did have that last pick versus OD, right? So he was like, this is my pick. I want the Screen of Pain versus the OD. Just give it to me.
Oh, look at that. Oh. I love the Phase Boots Axe, man. This is one of those things that made these strength offlaners so powerful. Because you just get the free armor and the move speed. It's just such an excellent boot now.
He's also just casually out-leveling Slark, and he's 1k ahead.
Yeah.
Like, he was creep skipping, but because of that Rubik staying on top, like, as you mentioned before, Slark wasn't able to just take the creeps, move them to the hard camp, farm both the hard camp and the creeps, right? So Vampire staying there on top prevented Slark from popping off the same time Shaklo did. And right now, Shaklo is much stronger.
At bottom lane, we have initiation once again of the Gyrocopter, but Dream does not care. And you can see, if this rocket lands, this might even be a dead Ogre, and in fact it does. Lena now teleporting out, just catches an ult in the face from GPK. They'll pick up Senny on the Ogre as well. 2 for none special. Excellent rotation down bottom from the Queen of Pain, and not even going to be punished middle thanks to that haste rune. He'll be able to get back in record time.
Man, maybe those live odds, maybe those viewers and those bettors, they knew something that we didn't because...
they're playing so fast around the map. Sorry to interrupt, Liz, but we've got another kill. OD uses the Astral on the creep wave, and alas, that is a third consecutive kill for the GPK Quap. Now 5-0, 4K lead. And another one down bottom. FNG picks up an extra.
They're just crumbling. They're
just everywhere.
Picking them off everywhere, and it's nighttime with the Night Stalker, and that Night Stalker is dying. That's not a good situation to be in. Right now, I believe it's all on this Supreme Slark, and he's been called. Let's see how much he can do. One more spin. One more spin. Shaklo is following him.
He's got ult.
Oh, not to the creep, Supreme.
What's
happening over here?
Wasn't there an active shrine? There was an active shrine.
I guess he tried to juke or something, but or to get to the cliff and then pounce. Like, what was the?
I feel like this game is at that point. It's at that point where you start to feel helpless. And you know, it's been a while, so I wasn't really prepared necessarily to read the game. But in retrospect, you look at these HippoManiacs 3 cores. All of them are greedy. All of them do not farm outside of hitting creeps for 15, 20 minutes. And if you lose the lanes with these kinds of heroes, you just don't shove lanes. You can't really gank effectively. You're just there. And Gambit continuously just playing this 2-1-2. No lane really threatened. No heroes in danger. And the FNG on dying. There's not even a point in Tombstone.
Exactly.
He's just going to body you.
I really just have to say that FNG has completely stopped them on this bottom lane. Look at Kari. He lost all of his HP from one rocket barrage, and that's partly because of these decay stacks that FNG has been taking away from him. And FNG has stopped them in their tracks. Like, their game plan has shattered because of this Undying on that safe lane. And
yeah. I want to say on that. Shaklo, meanwhile, oh my goodness, Supreme. If he caught an ult there, he would have gone down. This is a 2-on-3, and they just don't even care. Now a teleporting from the gyro. He says, hey, boys, what's up? Pops the ultimate. Senny will catch the first, the rocket to follow. If they can kill him before the rocket lands, oh, wow, that's a blink on Shaklo. My God, they're going to be able to pick up 2 here, aren't they? Jukes the stun, continuing to chase MUF, gets the Battle Hunger off. Ult him now. That's a dead Firebird. 9-0, 6K gold lead. And this one looks like a runaway victory for Gambit.
Yeah, top of the network now for Shaklo, 5K. If they get this kill, though, that could be huge for them.
Gotta be careful. There's no ultimate on the Slark anymore. And I don't think you can kill Axe. They will get onto the board. They will probably be able to finish this off. GPK still just farming middle. FNG recovering levels in the bottom lane. And a nice punish from HippoManiacs.
That's a lot of gold.
Yeah, but I like what they've done in the sense that Gambit, they're not over-rotating. You look at the wards they have, so developed into the enemy side of the map, and they're getting critical levels on the Undying bottom lane for free, as the entire HippoManiacs squad had to rotate top to stem some of that bleeding. GPK, of course, still accelerating mid, and now they'll be re-upped and ready to contest these runes.
Dream was just taking the stacks as well. Meanwhile, Gyrocopter completing that triangle safe. Vampire might fall here. At the same time, Dream does get the kill on Zenny's Augur. And Vampire should be dead here. Yep.
I was gonna say, yeah, that's a really easy call. Nice teleport in from Shaklo. They get the ultimate on Supreme. He might try and kill himself off to Roche here, but GPK is going to have none of that. Shaklo with the finish. Axe to the face. Now the move speed bonus. MUF is in so much trouble. He's going to be under that ward in just a moment. Shaklo knows something's up. They might be in danger here if they catch a double stun, and in fact they do, but Lena's just so low on HP. GPK, no blink, just level 1. Catches the ult, but still going to survive. Shaklo as well, blinking away. And now the offensive tips. The all chat. This is CIS Dota, and Gambit are certainly feeling themselves.
Yeah, you just have to tip him after that ultimate there. It was a nice idea. Perhaps you ulti, she loses her mana. Perhaps you catch that axe with the ulti as well, and he isn't able to blink out. Also, a pretty good play by the Lina to be able to juke them that way and also catch both of them with the stun. However, it doesn't just saves her alive, but they do not get any counter kills. Counter kills they definitely do need at the moment. And look at those odds right now. HippoManiacs on 8. I don't blame the bettors, because we as casters in this situation, analysts, whatever, we have to find like some silver linings, you know, like we have to pretend like the game isn't over, but it's really difficult in this situation.
You even have the quick with the stolen Astral, just easy damage and setup, as we can see here. Taunt lands onto the Ogre Magi. He's just going to get popped. And this is what I love to see. This is something OG did super well. this 4-man rotation, but you leave your farming core up in the aggressive off lane. There's a ward on the shrine, so you're effectively controlling an entire half of the map while being able to pressure 2 objectives at the same time. And of course, Gyro, if necessary, could rotate mid. They'd look for a team fight. But as the tier 1 tower falls, now it's just a rudimentary retreat up towards top tier 2. You'll be able to collect another tower, and HippoManiacs, again, do that lack of wave clear.
But look at them.
There's no other pressure.
Look, just look at where they're concentrated. They're all around that one triangle, around that one shrine that they've got remaining, because they're afraid. They have a Night Stalker, but like he isn't really able to do anything, especially now when it's daytime. And for them to move into the dire jungle, I think they need to use a smoke. I don't believe this is going to be very easy for them to just... They do look like they want to move in, but man, I don't think this tier 2 is to be defended.
Did you see?
At all.
You see what FNG's pinging as well, right? He literally is telling his team, fight around these 2 high grounds. He's pinging the ward location just beneath, and then he's pinging this or whatever the hell that's called, the high ground area, because you never want to play low ground as a dying. And as I say that, of course, they just dive the tier 2. They're going to immediately get hot and heavy. Night Stalker's going to pop the ultimate, the aggressive banish onto, I believe, is that the Ogre. Ultimate will be able to finish off the Night Stalker. Senny's going to fall as well. And that was, of course, the Night Stalker ultimate. So now you're going to have a further 2 minutes where there's no aggressive movement possible from HippoManiacs. You'll lose 2 and a tier 2 tower.
You just cannot defend this tier 2. That's bottom line, right? Like, I don't know what their plan is. Even if they brought all 5 here, it's a very difficult tower to defend, especially when you lost your dire jungle so early on. As you know, you're going to be playing into the wards, and you're playing into an Axe and Undying that's playing around cliffs, so that Undying can pop the tombstone on a cliff. He doesn't have to do it so aggressively like he did it there, but yeah, very strange decision by HippoManiacs to fight that.
It's a tough ask. It's a tough ask for Hippos here. They're going to need to find that, because right now they look like baby hippos, let's be honest. And they're going to need to hit adolescence real quick if they want a chance of coming back into this one. 14-3, 14 minutes or so.
Maybe not in this game, maybe in the next one that they play in this tournament. But
that wouldn't be till tomorrow. Yeah. But we do play winners, right? We play winners after?
Yeah, we play winners, like in the last game.
Cool.
I believe it's Fly to Moon and someone else. We'll see. We'll see.
And it's Adfinem Fly to Moon following this series on this stream. Of course, Kyle and Lizard here bringing you the English broadcast of the GG.Bet Hamburg Invitational, presented to you by Maincast. We're, of course, here at the studio in Kyiv, taking good care of us as always.
What
big fan of the boys at Maincast.
Well, right? Beautiful people, beautiful city, beautiful. Like the food is so good too.
The food is so good. I don't know how.
And cheap.
I don't want to even like tell people about it because for some reason, you know, everybody's trying to move to like LA and London, and meanwhile,
let them.
Kyiv,
I say let them.
It is insane. I had breakfast today with Resolution. I had the they did like something called it was a Turkish breakfast, right? 2 eggs. 3 different types of bacon, some pita bread, hummus, peaches, cheese. Delicious. It was $6.
Yeah.
It was so good.
I had a lunch like a few days ago for $4. It had like a soup, as well, something like that, hummus compote, which is like this drink made out of, like you just basically boil some apples and cherries.
Oh, it sounds so good.
It's so good.
Dude, it's like, what's it called? The kava or something? It's like the beer. It's like a cider, but it's beer. It's a specific Ukrainian drink. I can't remember what it's called. I'll have to Google it after the broadcast, but it is delicious. It's like black bread beer, but it's not beer.
I'm not certain actually. I've been here for a while, and
I
can't remember drinking anything but vodka. But yeah, maybe maybe you're right.
I should have known.
It's possible.
Tier 2 tower going to get pressured here. Nothing really happening in this game with the exception of Gambit continuing to increase both their lead and their map control. Curry will take the bottom tier 1, but they'll lose a tier 2 in trade. And Gambit just trying to acquire more resources. FNG now just moving forward.
Runs into them.
He's very easy. No, don't tell me he's going to live. Shaklo with a stun. He's got the blade mail popped as well. There is an active tombstone, and they need to kill that on the side of HippoManiacs. And indeed they will. GPK blinks in very aggressively. The gyro ulti to zone, and I mean, you're just dead. Oh my god, huge Quap ultimate coming out. Will it be enough though? GPK's got to blink up in 1 second. In fact, he does. The stolen Lina Slave as well will finish off another. And now, boom, in some trouble. Shaklo blinks forward, pops the ultimate. That's an easy kill. And now with the catapult wave still active and just a Slark on the board, it does appear like the tier 3 tower could even be pressured here as Dream moves forward.
Why not? They're all alive. The Undying is back up. He's going to come to them. And it's only the Stark up and available to fight. And that guy has drums phases. Like, he's not going to do anything.
Yeah, that's
a tier 3 and shrines are open. Yeah.
This is something, I remember having a discussion with a couple of teams about this, but the value is no longer in the racks. It's been like the common knowledge now in like the high tier Dota scene. Your goal is to kill the tier 3 because the shrines give so much gold. And not just gold, of course, but map control.
Map control, it's all about taking that tier 3. By the time I was still playing back then, and I was trying to explain this to my teammates as well. If you take the tier 3 and they're respawning, just run. You don't have to go and risk your lives in order to take those Raxes. Go back, take the shrine. After the shrine, the Rosh is open. And if you take Aegis, like, it's so much easier to take the Raxes. You take one good fight, you have 6 lives, like, you're going to win that fight.
Whereas if you lose that fight for the Rax, maybe you get the Rax, but now they're going to go run to Rosh. Now you have to buy back. Now you have to make this judgment call, and there's a lot more risk involved. Whereas, as you said, you kill the tier 3, you play conservatively, you get to a position where now you're going to push Rax, but you've got Aegis and an extra 5k gold in the pocket. Initiation onto the Night Stalker.
It's just gone. And you know what the worst part is? If you look at the items of HippoManiacs, they went for these phases, medallions, drums, no Midases, nothing like that, you know, so they aren't really scaling that well, and they're still losing these teamfights, and they're still, every single core is like 3k below the, like the other core of the Radiance, so.
Yeah, there isn't really much for me to add on to that, of course, as the play-by-play member of this broadcast team. Of course, my job is simply to tell you what we see on the screen. If you're looking for a high level insight into how HippoManiacs actually have to come back, you'll have to talk to my man Lizard.
Yeah.
So
guys, in order for HippoManiacs to come back into this tournament, but maybe not into this game, they have to think about a draft that's not as greedy first and foremost. Perhaps have some team fights as well. But then again, their offlaner used to be their carry, you know, and maybe that's the problem, because that Night Stalker died a bit too many times on the offlane, and you can't be as greedy as on that safe lane. When,
I feel like that might be a sentiment you repeat many times throughout this season, Lizard, but we'll wait and see what some of these rosters are shaping up. Curry going to pop the ultimate, again, purely defensively, just to run away from the hard position 5 FNG Undying.
And the worst part is it was still night.
Yes.
Pop stats, so Muff. Oh. Shock. But if he died,
Lincoln ulted, might have died, yeah.
Yeah. There's still that backswing, right? There's a second of time, but probably could have gotten him.
And now Dream, he's just so tanky. He doesn't even need the BKB because he's got Aegis, Maelstrom, Ags. Like, this is another concept that OG utilized, was this idea of effective net worth power spikes. And Gyro at 10k net worth with these items does more damage than almost every other carry in the game of Dota 2. Especially when you consider the kit involved, the flak, the ultimate, the Q, the rockets. Like, you have 4 abilities that all deal damage.
He deals so much damage, but at the same time, with this build, he's effectively tanky enough to survive the initial burst of the Ogre and the Lina, right? And because of that, he can actually go dish out that damage. Usually, the way to deal with this Gyro, if he goes for such a build, is you just burst him down and that's it. Then you fight with everyone else, but they can't do it at this moment, at least. They just don't have the firepower that's necessary to take down this big Gyro.
And I love the way they're moving around the map as well. As you can see, GBK, he's close enough to link up, but he'll cover that mid wave, as now the squad of Gambit will push tier 2 bottom. As you saw on the line, they're going to link towards middle and just look to push in the area with the exposed racks.
And this is the first time that you can see Shackle moving down and taking those creeps. One of the reasons why HippoManiacs are unable to creep skip or split push is because usually they don't see Shackle on the map, and that axe can just control you for long enough for one of these guys to follow up and get a kill.
Now Rubik with the stun. This is gonna look at the sustain. Oh my god! Now they're gonna kill him.
Is that? He has a buyback, but do you really want to use it? Perhaps for the second Raxes. I don't think you buy back for mid Raxes here. You won't win this fight even with a buyback.
I think this is the time to run the Afro Ninja. Somebody's got to just type out that GG and get it over with, because right now it's just insult to injury. Score 420. HippoManiacs probably wish that that was the decision they made today instead of joining this lobby, because so far it has been all Gambit all the time, starting off the new season with a bang.
Right now, this lineup is looking pretty strong. They really want to prove themselves. Every single one of these players want to stay in Gambit. Like, they want to prove to be the strongest player for that position at the moment. And most of these players, like GPK and XS Vampire, let's just escort Curry to the fountain.
They're just so strong. Oh my god, everyone's going to die. We can't even catch all the carnage on camera.
That's
GG
GG,
bopped.
yeah.
It's over, folks. Put it in the books. Gambit dominating in 22 minutes and about 15 or 16 seconds. But realistically, this one was in the bag.
Yeah. After the laning
half
stage,
an hour ago.
After the laning stage, well, half of an hour ago. It lasted 22 minutes, but close enough. I mean, after you lose the laning stage with such a greedy lineup, and you aren't able to do anything with a 2-on-2 scenario, effectively Rubik was alone on that lane, just shutting down the Slark, while Undying was winning the lane convincingly for this gyrocopter. You had a Night Stalker that couldn't do anything after the laning stage, while at the same time Axe had the freest time of his life. And look at that hair.
Look, I was about to say,
right?
what a
Look at that
beautiful,
hair, man.
beautiful man. FNG, of course, has cut his hair recently, and to quote him, it was just too damn difficult to deal with.
I had a very similar length long time ago in my high school, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude, I had a ponytail until I was like 10.
Really?
Yeah, it's dark days. I'm very happy.
It's very dark
that
days for me as well.
No photographs survived. Oh, hey, yeah. Well, that one's a wrap. Do keep in mind, those of you watching, to protect your bet fast and easy. No queues, no business hours, no rejections. Just make a bet on GG.Bet.com and ensure it with the save code. Lizard, what would you do to save HippoManiacs after that sort of performance? Or was it simply outdrafted, outlaned, and outgunned?
I mean, it's hard to say. These four guys have been around for quite a long time. They played... I've casted them when they were qualifying for WCG in Athens, and they went, I believe, to China. They played there, 4 of them, but they had Saberlight as well. Now they don't have Saberlight, and they're looking pretty bad. So
it's been one game. Perhaps we shouldn't overreact too quickly, Lizard.
But at the same time, you're playing versus Gambit's lineup that has just formed. You only have FNG there. That's what I'm trying to say. You have 4 guys that have been around for quite a long time together, and on the opposite side, you have Gambit with 4 new players and FNG. You know,
but that's the key, isn't it? I feel like if this last TI proved anything, right, it's got to be that captains are the hottest commodity.
Of course.
You can have a great team, sure, but at the end of the day, it's the strategy, team play, and most importantly, that camaraderie, that synergy that actually brings you victories, especially at LAN. And I'm kind of shocked that just took so long. You know, I think a lot of the sentiment was maybe that OG sort of, you know, they fluked their way to a TI win, right? Then they come out and absolutely destroy people, looking like the best team from day 2 of the groups to the final day. You know, there's a way to win, and that's it.
It's also really interesting, if you remember Epicenter, they were playing with their coach, with Soshka there, with Sox. And,
yeah, they beat EG and Secret.
They beat EG and Secret. They were pretty good over there as well, even though they didn't have Notail. He was in a hospital or something, right?
It should be, you'd think, it should have been more ominous then, right? And I know everyone's like, it's the last major. They already qualified. But, like, you got to think, you know, this team came out and beat 2 of the best 4 teams in the world with their coach.
With their coach, yeah. With a coach that hasn't played Dots. He's, like, ranked 1500 or something.
Yeah.
You know, like.
Go figure, man. I'm not sure if we're sending it to a break or not. We do have another game coming up. It'll be Adfinum versus
Fly to Moon, I believe.
I believe you are correct. But either way, we'll find out in a moment if we're wrong, and that does happen quite often. But just for now, take a seat. We'll be back in a minute with the next game.